Welcome to Hello Self. It's a podcast focused on turning your can'ts into cans and your dreams into plans. I am your host, coach, and author, Patricia Leonard. Good morning out there, my Hello Self followers. This is Patricia Leonard. I'm your host at Hello Self podcast, and we've been here several times before, and I always like to remind you, though, of what our purpose is. Our purpose is to share insights from guests and other means about how they turned their can'ts or their dreams into plans and created careers. So they'll be giving you ideas of their story and a little overview of their journey. And what we're hoping is that you pick up the pieces of that inspire you to go after your dreams and hopes. And I am so excited. Today, we have a guest that you're going to learn a lot from, in not only in your sight, but also in your spiritual sight. Dr. Ming Wang is here with me today, and I'm so excited about that. He has given so many of us, including me, sight, and he has a lot more than that. And I'm going to read an overview of his bio just as a way to introduce him, and then I'll let him tell you the rest of the story. Dr. Ming Wang is a Harvard and MIT graduate with a magna cum laude degree. One of the few laser eye surgeons in the world today who holds a doctorate degree in laser physics. He has performed over 55,000 procedures, including on over 4,000 doctors. The sight film is fabulous, and you're going to enjoy hearing about this. It's based on Dr. Wang's autobiography, From Darkness to Sight, co-starring Greg Kinnear. As a teenager, Ming suffered greatly in China and came to America with only $50 and earned 2 doctorate degrees, one in laser physics and one in medicine, and graduated with the highest honors from Harvard Medical School and MIT. Amniotic, I know he'll have to tell you the real spelling or pronunciation of that, membrane contact lens, which Dr. Wang has invented and holds 2 U.S. patents, has now been used by tens of thousands of eye doctors throughout the world, and millions of patients have had their eyesight restored. Wang Foundation for Sight Restoration, another point we want to bring out, helped patients from over 40 states in the U.S. and 55 countries, with all sight restoration surgeries performed free of charge. Dr. Wang was named the Kiwanis Nashvilleian of the Year for his lifelong dedication to help blind orphan children from around the world. And now I'd like to present you with Dr. Ming Wang, and he will share more about his purpose-driven life, and it'll give us a great insight to who he is and what he's done. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Wang. Thank you, Dr. Wang, for being here today, and you can take it from here.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you for the honor and pleasure to be on your show. Enjoy our meeting most recently at the Women in Film and Television Annual Award Ceremony. Hello, everyone, fans of Patricia's podcast show. This is Dr. Ming Wang. I'm honored to be with you today. Today, I would like to address a very timely and important issue that our nation is facing. That is, we are so divided. And to explore together the question is how can we find common ground once again as a nation and build up America? And this common ground seeking topic is in the context of this next 30 minutes PowerPoint presentation about a purpose-driven life. Finding common ground is one of the purposes. And during the presentation, that if available on the chat room, recording here, there will be my contact information. You can contact me anytime if you have any question about any part of this presentation. And also on the screen at this moment, everybody can take a picture, iPhone, take a picture of the screen, which does have my contact information, including email. So you can ask me any question afterwards, email me your question about common ground or your question about vision surgeries. So the title is A Purpose-Driven Life. And as on the screen, you see a free link to watch the film S.A.L.T. So if you take a picture of the screen, and you will be able to watch the film S.A.L.T. free of charge. The film S.A.L.T. is distributed by NG Studios, which distribute The Chosen, Sound of Freedom. In the past, it tells the story of a Chinese American immigrant and our foundation's work in helping blind orphan children from around the world. And in the process, how we find the common ground between faith and science in developing an amniotic membrane contact lens, which has helped millions to date. So first, let me spend a few minutes talking about where I came from. I came from China, grew up during a time called Cultural Revolution. From 1966 to 1976, the government in China shut down all universities and colleges of entire nation. Can you imagine that?
No.
And forcefully deported to some of the poorest part of the country every single high school graduate for poverty and hard labor for life. So over 10 years of cultural revolution from 1966 to 76, by shutting down all universities and colleges of entire China, they sent away to labor camp for life 20 million young people. 1974, I was 14, and I was caught up during the Cultural Revolution. So when I finished my junior high, despite being a straight A student, I could not go to high school. I was going to be sent away to labor camp just like 20 million others for life, a devastating fate. Mm-hmm. In order to avoid this devastating fate of being sent away to labor camp, my parents found out that if I could play a music instrument, in this case, a Chinese violin, erhu, spells E-R-H-U, and also if I could learn dancing, I might be able to get into the government song and dance propaganda troupe, therefore avoid being sent away to labor camp. But that did not work. Government quickly recognized that I was learning dancing and music instrument playing for an ulterior motive, really not for music or dancing, but to avoid being sent away to labor camp. So they stopped my music and dancing learning. So I was going to be sent away to labor camp, for sure. Just about that point, I got lucky. 1976 rolled around. The Cultural Revolution ended. China realized what a tragic mistake it has made by shutting down all universities and colleges of the entire country for 10 years. So they stopped the Cultural Revolution, reopened all the colleges. And as you see in the film S.A.L.T, my parents told me that I need to get back to the school, which I was so excited about, but I need to jump 3 years ahead overnight from 9th to 12th and against other 12th graders, compete against them for the 1% chance of getting to college, even though I have never attended 10th, 11th, 12th. The reason my parents want me to do that, jumping 3 years ahead, because they were not sure if the government will shut down college again the following year for another 10 years. The point is that for people who did not have freedom When freedom came along, even briefly, they treasure it. So the question to us, all of Americans today, that do we treasure what we have?
Very good.
And what is the symptom? What is the diagnosis for the behavior of many of us here in America today that we do not appreciate what we have? In other words, when we do not forget to appreciate America, what do we actually do? What is our behavior? Is the division and the polarization and lack of willingness to work together to find a common ground? Isn't it a symptom reflecting a deeper problem of our having taken our freedom here in America for granted? We'll return to this issue, common ground, a little bit later. So fortunately, I listened to my parents. I worked really hard, as you see in the film S.A.L.T. So in 1908, I got into University of Science and Technology in China. In 1982, I, with $50, borrowed from a visiting American professor, I was landed at Washington Airport, National Airport, Washington, D.C., with that $50, with a Chinese English dictionary, knowing no one in this country, could hardly speak English, even though I was poor, but I was happy. Why? I was free. I had good fortune attending some wonderful schools, including University of Maryland, Harvard, MIT. I got a PhD degree in laser physics. Then I wanted to go to medical school, but I was racially discriminated against by a professor who said, "Oh, you're Chinese, you're no good." Fortunately, I did not listen to him. I worked even harder. Racial discrimination is another form of division and polarization. And we'll return to the question about polarization division a little bit later again. So after postdoctorate at MIT in laser physics, I was enrolled at Harvard MIT joint MD program. And I got my MD degree in 1991 and also got first place finishing in graduation thesis. And then I invited my parents over, my brother. I was very grateful to my parents because without them, I would not have today. So the film S.A.L.T. has been dedicated to my parents.
Fantastic.
Thank you. And the reason I got 2 doctorate degrees is because medicine today is so technologically driven. So most of the eye surgeons have an MD degree. They're strong in medicine, but they didn't have the opportunity to study the other half, which is the laser technology. Since I had a PhD in laser physics, that's why I got my second doctorate degree in medicine. So currently, among all the laser vision surgeons in the world today, I'm probably one of the few who not only had MD, but also a PhD in laser physics. I have performed over 55,000 laser vision correction surgeries, including on over 4,000 doctors. And this is my diploma, graduating with an MD degree from Harvard and MIT. In 1985, I had the good fortune of meeting then President Ronald Reagan at the White House. And he was very gentle to me, like grandfather figure to me. He was asking me, was I enjoying studying in America, living in America? And actually, it was President Reagan who initially first suggested to me the concept of common ground. And he said, "Ming, I'm taller." I said, "Yes, Mr. President." He said, "I'm better looking." I said, "Yes, Mr. President." I'm not going to object to President, right? And he was an actor, tall and handsome. But then he says, "But Ming, we have common ground, don't we? We are all a human being."
Oh, that's amazing.
Reagan then,
Yes.
yeah, in 1985, who instilled in me the seed of the desire to seek common ground in a divided world. Actually, when President Reagan was shot by an assassinator, when he was shipped to the hospital in the George Washington Hospital, and he humorously said to all the doctors surrounding him about to save his life, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to duck." And he said, "I hope today you're all Republicans."
have
then,
to remember to duck, don't we?
yeah, yes. And he
That's
said, I
right.
hope you're all Republicans. And then the leading doctor in George Washington University Hospital with the graduate doctors surrounding President Reagan look at the president and say, but President, today we are all Republican and Democrats, we all Americans.
Ah, very good point. Yes. I
So
think, yeah, that's a real basis for your common ground too, that if we can see ourselves like that instead of divided, that's what begins to break through the barriers that we see sometimes. And oh my goodness. Oh, keep going. This is fabulous.
yes, and Patricia, you're absolutely right. C, it's very appropriate to come from an eye doctor, right?
Yeah.
Is C, we have physical seeing, but also we have emotional, spiritual, right?
Yes.
Side. And sometimes we see something, but we don't really see it. And so common ground takes a desire, because if you're unwilling to see it, let's say racial division, when a black person and a white person meet, if they don't want to see each other, the common ground they have between them, then they never see it.
Fabulous.
So first is about the desire. You have to be willing to look for it. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, a very good point. We don't really know who the other person is by simply looking at the physical being or the color of their skin. And what we find is we have a lot in common after finally sit down and talk. Oh my.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes,
keep
exactly.
going. I'm loving this.
Thank you. So over the years, after being in America for all these years as an immigrant, working hard to do my part of work to contribute to this country, I've been trying to develop a sense of purpose for my life. Today, I'm very delighted to share with you all, everybody, about what I have developed the purpose and what I've been trying to do. I'm still not doing a great job yet, but I'm trying every day to do a better job. So what are the purposes that I've developed? 5 of them. The first is to share. I think as a human being, we need to share what we have with others. So I'm going to give you 2 examples of what I've been trying to do to share. First, as I mentioned, that all eye surgeons from around the world today are strong in medicine, but they have not, like me, had the opportunity to study the other half, the technological half, the laser technology. So I decided to share. So over the years, I have published 10 textbooks in ophthalmology surgery, particularly regarding laser technology. And I've been going around the world teaching eye doctors to improve their weak area, which is technology. So that's an example of sharing. And the other example of sharing is, as in the film site, you will see that I had the opportunity of developing a innovative sight restoration technology called amniotic membrane contact lens. And I got a patent, which in the lower right corner, but then I decided I'm going to share. So I donated the patent to the world. I put it online so everybody can learn right away. And I even went around the world over a 20-year period to about 50-some countries, free of charge, taught over 10,000 eye doctors from around the world how to use the technology. And today, the amniotic membrane contact lens technology is used by eye doctors from nearly every nation around the world, and millions of patients have had eyesight restored. And amniotic membrane contact lens technology actually is a now $5 billion a year industry worldwide. Even though in the process, I did not make any money because I donated my patent to the world at the very beginning, but I fulfill one part of what I believe the life's purpose for me, which is to share what I have as a human being. Second is to remember. I think we all have our roots. We all came from different parts of the world, different states throughout America, different families and our cultural roots. We need to remember our roots, but also at the same time, we need to embrace the present and future. In the film Sight, there's a tagline said, "The present is made possible by the past." So as an example, how I remember my roots is that I brought the instrument I learned during Cultural Revolution to learn instrument to try to escape labor camp to America. And now I play that instrument no longer as a means to survive, to avoid labor camp, but as a way to remember my cultural roots, to bring the best from East to the West.
Yes. Yeah,
So to share and to remember. And the third,
sharing, this
yes,
is this just like coming on my podcast today to share with others that might not have the opportunity to see some of your sharing or to see some of what you've done. And I know I'm sitting here listening, and as you're talking about your past, I'm remembering the great things that I came from a very poor background, and it was a farm background. And I'm remembering the greatness that I'm able. This is very, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable, Dr. Wang, because this year I'm stepping out in some new areas to share. And I think this is very interesting because you're talking about remembering your roots. And what I'll be sharing is coming from my roots. I hope that everybody out there is listening to this, not as a presentation, but a message to you about your own life shared through the life of Dr. Ming Wang. Dr. Wang, this is so fabulous. It's exactly, I can't wait. I want to hear more, but I can't keep my mouth shut either. Yeah, so go on. Let's see what you're saying about to remember our roots.
yes. And that's the purpose of a podcast like this, isn't it, Patricia? Is that we use our life stories to inspire all of us.
Yes.
And because each of us have different roots, different family, different traditions, and it's in that remembering, which is part of our life purpose itself. So that's the purpose of podcast, to inspire everybody to remember your own roots.
Yes.
And so to share and to remember. The third purpose that I have been trying to develop is to progress human knowledge. And therefore, we can improve the quality of our lives. Think about all the technologies that has transformed our lives, such as a cell phone, for example, that has literally transformed, that changed the way we live. So I think as each of us as human being, part of our purpose for each of us is to help progress the human knowledge in different spheres so that it is through that knowledge progression that we can understand the world better, and therefore we can improve the quality of our lives. For example, in the film S.A.L.T, one will see this blind orphan child originally from India. She was actually intentionally blinded by her own stepmother, who poured sulfuric acid into her eyes when she was sleeping one night. They were in an attempt to try to make Kajal a blind orphan child who can sing on the streets, for therefore can get more money from tourists. But Kajal was maliciously blinded. Then she was found to have no talent of singing. She couldn't sing. That's why she was abandoned. And film S.A.L.T is about Kajal's remarkable journey to try to come from darkness to light. So when I first saw Kajal examine her eyes, our foundation brought her here. This is her eyes, totally scarred up. And in fact, the corneal blindness due to trauma, such as what Kajal suffered, and infection, is a leading cause of blindness worldwide, particularly in the third world countries. So that's a knowledge that we need to progress to really help people to improve the quality of our lives. So I started doing research to try to help Kajal, as you see in the film S.A.L.T. Then I realized that in order to prevent the scarring of the eye, the only type of person who do not scar is a fetus. A fetus actually does not scar before birth. So the question is, how could we do research on fetal tissue without hurting a life? So that brings up the question that, do faith and science have common ground? Because if based on purely just science, well, doing a stem cell fetal tissue research, no problem to help our patients. But if complete up to the Christians, I'm a Christian, and about Christian are people with faith, moral, ethical principles, and this shows not just for Christians, for everybody today, that we all have moral, ethical principles, and then we don't want to hurt the fetus life. So they say there's no common ground between faith and science, and they are very polarized and divided. Is that really true? So in order to help Kajal, I need to try to find a common ground here between protecting fetal life and doing research on the fetus so that I can help a blind orphan child, children such as Kajal. So that leads up to the number 4 purpose for me, that as a human being.
May I say something about that?
Yes,
fetus?
absolutely.
Okay, I wish, and I did, this struck me again. I wish that I had known Dr. Wang when I had 2 miscarriages.
Mhm.
And one of the babies went full time, but died the week before he was born.
Mhm.
And the other one, I actually aborted in my bathtub and in my hand. I didn't know what was happening.
Mm.
But so I wish I would have known then, because I've often wondered, did they throw those fetuses in the trash, or what did they do with them? Because I would have definitely given to something like this for somebody to have sight or somebody, but I didn't know about that. So just remember, when we get caught between faith and science, sometimes just knowing something like this and hearing the common ground that Dr. Wang is talking about can help us let go of our feeling guilty, but offering opportunities, offering something, sharing something, and we can feel good about that, because I didn't know about this at the time. So I know how we get torn between faith and the things that we've so much, and science, the things we've, but you know what? God didn't just provide one thing. He provided millions of things, for ways for us to share and ways for us to give life. And I remember when, and sorry, Dr. Wang, but this is just triggering me to share. I remember when my mother had a stroke late in life and lost her sight. She gave up on life. And so it doesn't mean that's the only way, because I also know some people that are blind and they still live life. But it's another way for, as Dr. Wang was saying, for sharing who we are and what we've been given. This is triggering so many things in me, and I'm sure it is in others, Dr. Wang. So I'll
Yes.
get out of the way now, but you talk about common ground. There is so much of this common ground for me in my own life. Listen, listeners, to what he's saying, and then get in touch with him if you want to know more or talk more. Okay, now he's going on if I get out of the way.
Yes, but that's the very purpose. You're not in the way, Patricia. The purpose of this discussion is to invoke each of our own memories among our life's experiences, and encourage all of us to find
Yes.
our own purpose, to find our own common ground, to inspire all of us. So that's exactly the purpose of this. So to chime in anytime, because I want to interactive. So coming back, this is one area between that need to find a common ground between faith and science. So that lead to the number 4 purpose of to share, to remember, to progress. The number 4 for me, a life purpose, is to find a common ground based on our shared humanity. And I've been studying this question of common ground seeking, finding for decades. I even built a nonprofit organization called Common Ground Network to specifically study the methodology. one misunderstanding about common ground is that some people think common ground is just simply a compromise. No, common ground is not a compromise. Common ground is the seeking of truth. It's very important that it's not just taking two people with different opinions, take the average in the middle, that's it. No, it's about understanding each other truly to find out what is in essence we do have in common, that essence, that truth. So common ground is deeper, much more than just a compromise. Common ground is the seeking of truth through a deeper mutual understanding.
Yes. Yes.
So we need to build bridges, and we need to breaking barriers. So as a Christian, that we went to the Bible and study in terms of how Jesus Christ has done in finding common ground. And we established a common ground seeking steps, STEPS, see the common ground. This is very appropriate coming from an eye doctor, that we, in order to see something as human being, first we have to have the willingness to see. If we are unwilling to even look for it, we will not see it. If we meet someone with different opinion, different racial background, different political persuasion, different religious background, if we're unwilling to even recognize that we have common ground, we will not be able to see it.
No.
So the first is ask ourselves an honest question, am I willing to see the common ground? Second is T, trading places. We need to speak the language of the listener. It's so easy as human beings, we tend to naturally speak the language of the speaker. But as an eye doctor, I have learned over decades, the best way to practice medicine, to take care of my patients, is to trade places with my patients. For example, Patricia, if I want to take care of your eyes, in the world of 8 billion people, you are actually, Patricia, you're the number one authority in questions relating to your vision.
Yes.
Because you're the only person who is seeing through their pair of eyes of yours where you do not see. No one else has that experience. No one else can tell more precise, clearly what you're seeing, what you're not seeing. So if I want to take care of your eyes, I have to listen and develop technologies to simulating what you are actually seeing so that I can fix your eye problems.
You know, that's what we think we're expert, and you're just saying the expert is the person that I'm working with. Doctor, I did a workshop, and I'm sorry to keep, but you're just bringing.
No problem. That's the purpose. Yeah, chime in anytime.
I did a workshop in Knoxville, Tennessee, a few years ago with accountants and auditors, and it was mixed, men and women. And they wanted me to and I'm known as the high heels diva, and I had written several books about getting out of your flip-flop life and stepping into a higher level, not a high heel, but a higher level of who you are. And so they wanted me to do that speech. And I said, with men and women both? And they said, yes, we like the concept behind that. So I went to Goodwill and I got a big high heel, the highest, the longest I could get, a size 11. And I got a size 11 men's wingtip. And told, showed just trading places. So what I did was talking about how we see each other and how we get biases about just what you're talking about, only on a different way. And so I invited a man from the audience, whoever wanted to volunteer, and a woman. And so when they came up there, I asked the man to take off his shoes and put on the high heels. And then I asked the woman to put on the wingtips. Then my next question, or my next piece of action, was to the gentleman, how does it feel to be in high heel shoes? In other words, walk in the other person's shoes. And
Mhm.
then he talked about, he said, I totally feel out of place. I totally don't know how to really walk. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I asked the woman the same question, and she said, I feel clumsy. I feel that I don't really understand. But it was they just applauded and went on because what happens is just what you're saying. If we trade places with the other person and listen to what they're saying, or the other element of whatever their career is, we can start to understand, but we don't take the time. And putting them in each other's shoes, it was a riot. And I didn't know if it would work with financial people and the more technical minds, or the more thinking minds. Oh my gosh, they got it. They said that is so. Common ground can come in a lot of ways: who we are, the neighborhood we live in, trading places. If I lived there instead of here, how would I see the world? Oh my God. Speaking to the listener, Dr. Wang talks about speaking about what they see and what their hopes are. And it can go with communities, it can go with worlds, it can all go on. I'm just letting all this stuff out. Dr. Wang, this is what our world needs. Oh,
Yes, yes.
oh,
And the method you use in that case, let them change the shoes and outfit, is really the way to demonstrate physically through experience what feel like in trading places. And we
yes.
need to do more of these. And E is empathy. Think about my fellow Americans. What do we do today when we meet someone who has different opinion? We sometimes put some people down, with even yelling and shouting, and even in worst case, demonizing the other side. But instead of doing that, can we try the S.A.L.T principle? And Dr. Rice Brooks and my pastor always advocate S.A.L.T. Now, S, start a conversation. When you meet someone different, don't jump in arguing right away. Just S, start a conversation. A, ask a question. L, listen. And then and only then, talk. S-A-L-T.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah. And that way we can develop empathy towards other people.
Yes.
And we tend to, as human beings, we tend to talk first. No, this S-A-L-T principle, from common ground finding methodology, is to start a conversation, ask a question, listen, and then and only then talk. P, persevere, pay the price. If the right thing to do, there's a price to pay. And final S is seek common ground. Actually do it. Don't just talk about it. You know, who inspired us to formulate this common ground seeking steps, STEPS, is none other than Jesus Christ himself.
Yes.
Think about all the Bible stories we have read. The few decades of life that Jesus had on earth is the perfect embodiment of this common ground seeking steps, STEPS. As he saw the common ground with us as human beings, he traded places by becoming one of us. That's the ultimate trading places. E, empathy. He demonstrated empathy even to the people in the lowest round of society. Bible story, the woman by the well, nobody wants to talk to her. Christ did. P, persevere, paid the price. He paid the ultimate price by dying for our sin at the cross. Final S, he actually sought the common ground with human beings. He actually put into action. So Jesus Christ is the ultimate common ground seeker. So think about it. Are we for the Christians in the audience, are we behaving in a Christ-like manner? Or are we often doing the opposite? Isn't it true that some of the Christians today are some of the worst polarizers? While the nation is keep on going towards the deadly spiral, polarization and division. Isn't it an amazing historical opportunity for us as Christians to travel the road less traveled, to behave differently, to utilizing what is uniquely the most powerful thing that we have in our heart, which is Jesus Christ, to model after Christ, to be truly a common ground seeker. It is amazing opportunity to demonstrate the power of love for Christ by us as Christians to behave in a Christ-like manner and seek the common ground, because we can love each other despite the differences. We can show that just like Christ, we can work together despite the differences.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's the methodology. Keep on the common ground seeking. We even published a common ground Bible study to actually demonstrate 2 points. One, it is Christ's calling to all Christians to be the common ground seekers, like what he did, but also how to find the common ground. There's common ground seeking, STPS. And we talk about the scripture reference to each of these 5 steps as such.
Fantastic.
So the book is available on wangfoundation.com. Now, coming back to the problem of fetal tissue research trying to help the blind orphan child, cajole. And we start praying. And then it occurred to me that perhaps the reason an unborn child can heal without scar may have to do with the amniotic membrane that surrounds the unborn child, the placenta. And we lose that placenta protection at the time of birth. And then we start scarring. So maybe the secret of scarless healing is in the amniotic membrane. So I went to hospitals, got many bloody placentas because they always discard those placentas after a baby is born, as Patricia was mentioning her own experience of having lost the child. That those placenta normally is discarded. So I got these placentas and brought back to the laboratory, and I started doing research and eventually developed the amniotic membrane placenta contact lens. When we put this amniotic membrane contact lens onto injured eyes, we found magic happened. Indeed, the patient's eyeballs start to heal just as if it were not born yet. They start regenerate and start heal without scar, and the sight is restored. And then I got the patents, and then I asked myself, did I really invent the amniotic membrane contact lens? And I concluded, interestingly, no, because I did not invent the placenta. I did not invent the amniotic membrane. Got it. As a Christian and a scientist, I was just privileged, lucky to have been given the opportunity by God to catch a little glimpse of part of his original creation. So the credit goes to God. That's why I mentioned early that I decided to share. So I donated my patent to the world. I put the patent online and I went around the world, about 50-some countries over a 20-year period, and taught pro bono over 10,000 eye doctors from different countries. And today, amniotic membrane contact lens is a technology used by eye doctors in nearly every nation, and millions of patients have had eyesight restored. The film Sight is about that. And it has transformed the world. And I'm so happy I have the opportunity to make my little contribution, also particularly as an immigrant to America, because I'm very grateful to the opportunity that America has given me, the freedom and the faith. For example, as we get older, we all know our eyes get drier and drier. So dry eye causes corneal injury, does cause a long-term sight loss in elderly. So this patient in her 70s and lost her eyesight for many years due to severe dry eyes, because her eyes will not heal, and when heal, they heal with a scar. So we put the amniotic membrane contact lens on her. Now she could see. She's very happy. So this example showed the amniotic membrane contact lens is a powerful transforming technology that has changed the world. And I'm very happy to have played a part in it and have the opportunity to donate my technology to the world. But also it shows that science and faith do have a common ground. They can work together. We can do fetal tissue research, but at the same time, to benefit our patient, but at the same time, we can protect lives. So this is one example of common ground seeking by recognizing, by believing that science and faith do have common ground and actively, intentionally, proactively seeking it. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA, and this is our Vision Institute. We have some of the best technologies in the world because of my dual training, having an MD, but also a PhD in laser physics. I have published a paper in the journal Nature and about our research. And also I used to serve United States FDA ophthalmic device panel, first Chinese Americans to serve in that post. And also we have an international training center here to train eye doctors from around the world to share. And we have introduced the state's first all laser LASIK. LASIK is actually going out of date. It's now replaced by a better technology called SMILE, small incision LASIK. And we also introduced the state's first laser cataract surgery. Cataract surgery can be performed with laser or blade, but today in America, 95% of cataract surgeries are still performed with blade, believe it or not. But because of my dual training in lasers and medicine, I introduced this technology and I've been teaching doctors how to use laser to perform cataract surgery. And we also performed the world's first laser artificial cornea implantation, utilizing my PhD laser expertise, and also performed United States first intact for keratoconus disease, and also research for keratoconus and research to treat presbyopia, which is aging, loss of reading. We actually, for 5 human eye prescription conditions, myopia, nearsightedness, hyperopia, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, the reading difficulty as we get over age 45, and the cataract. We can treat all 5 now in year 2025 using these 4 technologies. And for those in the pod, you can take a picture of this. We won't have too much time to talk about today, but take a picture so you can email me in the lower left corner. Any question you have. Every Tuesday, we do a Vision Zoom, 6:45. You are welcome to come. These are 4 top technologies, can treat all 5 human eye conditions: nearsighted, farsighted, astigmatism, presbyopia, and cataract. Through SMILE, left upper corner, replacing LASIK surgery. Lower left corner, implantable contact lens. I can put the contact lens inside your eyes, so you never need to remove it at bedtime. In the middle, over age 45, for Patricia and I, we have technology now can actually improve, not only improve distance vision, but also improving the reading vision as well. In fact, this surgery for our young ones can, in one surgery, treat all five human conditions, can even get rid of the cataract. All the way to the right is cataract surgery. Laser is best technology. But despite the fact the laser best technology, only 5% of doctors are using laser for cataract surgery. That's why I've been teaching surgeons. They're strong in medicine, MDs, all of them have MDs, but very few have PhD in laser physics, to try to help them so that more doctors can use laser for cataract surgery as such. Now, so that's the eye technology we talk about. And living in Nashville, Tennessee, I might have my share of celebrity patients such as Dolly Parton, Kenny Chesney, Charlie Daniels, Ashley Judd, etc. And I have not forgotten, I came from China, my roots. I've been going back in China 30 years, almost every year, to teach without charging the Chinese eye doctor how to improve the quality of care in China. I even performed China's first all laser LASIK as such. Today in Nashville, Tennessee, our patients from all over the United States, over 40 states, and also over 55 countries worldwide. So that brings up the last of the 5 purposes. After to share, to remember, to progress, to find common ground, now is to help. I think as a human being, part of life purpose should be we need to help those who need most help. And that's why I built a foundation to help blind orphan children from around the world. And this is a real Kajol's photo, as you see in the film site. And even the dancing I learned during Cultural Revolution Escape Labor Camp now is helping my medical charity also. I invented a concept called the eyeball. When you come to eyeball, you see the beautiful dancing. But then the point is that the beautiful dancing reminds you how precious our sight is as human beings. Therefore, how much we need to help those who have lost sight. Our foundation has helped patients from all over the world, not only children, but also adults as well. As a Chinese American immigrant, I think all of us need to participate and help America contribute back to this country that has given us the freedom and the opportunity. 12 years ago, I established Tennessee Immigrant, a minority business group trying to help Latin Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans to help each other in business, also help America. As a Christian, my favorite topic at churches on Sundays is to talk about what God wants us to do to find a common ground between faith and science. And also, Chinese American minorities, we need to stand up for our rights. Oh, I'm very privileged and honored to receive the Kiwanis Nashville of the Year award a few years ago. I teach at the local university, Trevecca University, Christian University, and receive an honorary doctorate degree there. And my teaching subjects always science and faith have common ground. So in conclusion, I think all of us need to think about, as a human being, we have lucky few decades on this earth. What is our purpose of life beyond what we normally do? You can be a CPA, you could be a real estate person, you could be a attorney, you could be a restaurant owner. Beyond what we normally do, what is our real purpose of life? Today, I hope I shared a little bit about what I've been trying to develop for me, my purpose. I have recognized that, for example, I have my science training, medicine and technology laser, but science is just a tool. For me, is the faith in Jesus Christ is giving me a purpose, what I'm going to use the tools for. In my particular case, and as an eye doctor, is to help. The real purpose is to help the blind orphan children who needs the most help. So the question to you, our audience today, is beyond what you normally do, what is your purpose beyond what you normally do?
Yes, absolutely. Very good. I think this is fabulous. I feel like it's something that we all need to be hearing in our society because it's not just about sight. It's about sight from many standpoints, looking at ourselves. And that is exactly what Hello Self podcast is about. Who are you? What are you doing in your circle of influence to expand a common ground understanding and having everybody as people that are part of us, people that represent who we are. This is way beyond just the science. This is human being. We are in major transition in our society right now. And we need to hear these kind of common ground. And you may not be in, like Doctor said, you may not be in eyesight or something in the medical field, but there's something you can do. Hello, self. Who are you? What are you giving back? What are you sharing? I'm going to invite all of you. I want you to make sure that you go on Dr. Wang's site and we'll have it on our podcast here, but to bring this film site to your church, to your organizations, you can do your part in supporting the common ground effort that Dr. Wang is talking about here. I'm already thinking of a lot of things I want to do with corporate America and with my individual teaching and coaching. This is exactly, I'll probably be talking to him more. One question that really came up, you talked about meeting President Reagan. I'm wondering, have you had any conversation with Bobby Kennedy because he talks about medical and a science, a human piece of it.
Yeah, I have not had personally have opportunity talking to him, but he's certainly in a position of power right now
Yes.
in terms of HSS and all these issues that are regarding healthcare in our country.
Yeah.
I just want to conclude this little presentation, Patricia, if I may just show everybody a 2-minute trailer. So I'm going to just play this little trailer. Everybody enjoys.
Stick with us, audience, because we'll wrap it up after this. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. So everyone turn up their computer sound a little bit, and this 2-minute trailer of the film site, which won the Best Picture winner of International Christian Film Festival, ICVM. So here we go. Enjoy.
I'm going to help you see again. You said it was impossible.
Ah, there he is, the good doctor.
You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
I know, in that picture.
Very fun.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind, so the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, Kajal.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things
You
happened.
came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school. Are you coming from China? Don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor.
This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you. You need to just let go. I just don't want Maria to end up like Kajal.
Can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose.
I will be praying for you.
Kajal is teaching me that there's more to life than which I have to keep going.
I thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
Dr. Wang, does that little girl live here in Nashville now?
No, she actually returned to India. It was written in my autobiography. We got 3 families to adopt her.
Yes.
U.S. Immigration Service would not allow her to stay because she has no relative here. So this immigration system screwed up also. So she had to return to China, but to India. But I recently heard from a friend that learned something exciting, that Kajal's trip to America truly changed her life. And she, after returning to India, she actually went to university, got a university degree, and even further, got a master's degree.
Bravo.
Yeah. So
Wow.
the love that she has experienced during her trip in America through our foundation, all the Nashvilleian helping her, that really transformed her life.
Yes.
So
yes.
the film site actually initially was rejected by all top 10 Hollywood film distributors because they're not too crazy about faith film, and also the Chinese film, they need a kung fu or something. So it was going to be buried. However, I took the film around the country, and over 365 days, I traveled to 40 states, did 500 free film shows to 50,000 audiences, telling our story as Asian Americans, minority immigrant, but also telling Jesus stories, because Jesus is the ultimate physician
Yes.
and restoring spiritual side as such. So then Angel Studio stepped up in February of 2024 to decide to distribute the film. They distributed Chosen, Sound of Freedom, then they distributed Sight. And the film is for our next generation to appreciate America, work harder. Oh, by the way, that every third Wednesday of every month, I give a little Zoom about what I learned on a different subject, how to do work more efficiently, how to 事半功倍, meaning spending half the time accomplishing double. If any of you out there interested, you can take a picture. My email address is there. You can email me. I will be happy to send a little gift to you as an appreciation of your attending the Zoom today for Patricia's Hello Self program. And I'll be happy to mail a free book, 事半功倍 book, to you.
Fantastic.
So in summary, the purpose that I've learned is 5. That for my life, I'm still trying to do a better job to share our knowledge, to remember our roots, to progress human knowledge, to find common ground based on shared humanity, and finally, to help those who need the most help. If people ask me, what is the ultimate inspiration, singular vision behind all 5 purposes that I developed for my life? And there's only one vision. That is, I'm trying to do what I can as human being who have the privilege to be able to walk on this planet for a few decades. I want to do what I can to make the world a little better place to live. And that is the ultimate purpose for me.
Bravo. Yes, that's what we all want to do, but it takes action. So take some of these to my audience now as we wind this up. Dr. Wang, thank you, thank you, thank you. The insight, not only your service, but the insight that you have given each of us about making a commitment. 2025, it's time now. Make your commitment, step up to whatever it is you want, live your dreams, and help others live their dreams. So as we sign off on this, thank you. God bless your journey ahead. And to those of you who tuned in today, I want to remind you that this is about turning your cans and other people's cans into cans and their dreams into plans. I am your host, Patricia Leonard. And remember, I always leave with this message: keep dreaming. Thank you for joining Hello Self today, and may it offer insight and inspire you to stay on your runway to success. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember this, keep dreaming.